I'm assuming your background, right, of being a teacher, but what made you know and think that the education, the training, all that was an important step to your growth as a real estate agent?
Yeah, I would say definitely the education background, and then just with talking to first time home buyers, and just a lot of them, literally, they just don't know. They don't know that you don't have to call the agent off the sign. They don't know what goes into a contract, or that you should get pre-approved first so you have an idea on a budget. There's just so many unknowns that we go through. And, as agents, to educate them and make it a less stressful experience for the buyer.
Yeah. And did you mainly just focus on building your business through your sphere of influence?
So initially I did do some leads through like Zillow or realtor.com. I don't exactly remember which one. So I had gained some clients through that. Not a ton. A lot of them are not great leads, but some of them through there. And that kind of got me some experience to get some deals under my belt to where I was more confident. But yes, most of it, even to this day, most of it comes from my sphere.
Awesome. And what were some of the I know you mentioned you were very heavy into the community doing all those things. What were some of those first couple years like, and when did you really make that decision to switch over and go full time into the business?
Yeah, I would say, oh man, I don't know if there was an exact trigger point. It was just kind of the way the business grew so quickly over the first few years, just knowing that it was time to, I could support my bills and everything with going full time. I had worked, even through high school, I was a lifeguard, things like that. So I had always been putting money into a savings account. So I had some buffer there, which helped versus, like kind of like you mentioned, when people first start, you don't know when your first closing is. You don't know when you're going to get a paycheck. So that unknown is very scary. Where I think I had built up, excuse me, I had built up enough business and knowing that I was consistently having so many closings per year that I didn't need to, rely on a second job anymore.
Yeah. And when did you decide, I guess, because now you have a team and you've been licensed about 8 years. When did you decide, team was the next step for you in your career?
Yeah. So I think the team was probably right around halfway point, right around that 4-year period. I actually had another agent from the area. She had reached out to me, didn't want to necessarily compete against me. So we kind of formed a partnership. That was the first member of the team. And then from there, I just had agents continue to reach out to me. Even to today, I've got a few brand new agents on the team. So that's been a little bit different versus, more of an experienced agent. But with my teaching background again and the education, I just feed off of that. So I really enjoy that. And then the goal, would be just to continue grow the team. I guess I'll take a step back for a second. So with the first member of the team, again, it was kind of, we're from the same town versus competing, partnering together and just taking that to the next level. And then, as it's grown over time, we've had more agents come on. I currently have 5 agents underneath me on my team. One of them is my mom. She just got her license last year. I had my daughter in 2019. I just had a son in 2021 last year. He just turned 1. So my mom got her license last year at the beginning of the year, just kind of in preparation for me having my second child, to make sure if I needed a little bit more time to get back into it, with it being my second kid, she would be able to handle, a lot of the showings and things like that outside of the house, where I could still do the behind the scenes paperwork and everything like that.
No, that's awesome. Talk about dedication, right? Your daughter, right? Hey, I'm going to go get licensed so that way it can help you out.
Yeah. That's been awesome. Really nice. Like I said, the close-knit family and everything, having that support has been great. She's been a bird dog for me, sending clients, even before she was licensed. And now having her on the team and being able to work together and, calling each other so excited when we get somebody in contract and things like that. That's been a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome. So it almost sounds like you weren't a solo agent very long before you decided to take that next step to building a team. And then what most agents, how do I want to say this? I believe in community over competition, right? And usually in a territory, right, most agents would be more ego and, let's not combine forces. You do you, I'm doing me, and the best will win, right? I guess, did you guys know each other beforehand, or like, did you have a relationship beforehand, or like, how did that partnership happen? Because like I said, most of the time it's not that, right? It's not like, hey, let's not compete. Let's come together. Most of the time it's, we're going to compete, right?
Yeah, I would say I'm not a majorly competitive person. That's my husband. So I'm the opposite. Again, with being a people pleaser and wanting to help people, wanting to educate people, for me, it was a good opportunity. It wasn't necessarily, worrying about competition and that kind of thing, because even today, honestly, I mean, my opinion is there's so much real estate business. There's plenty enough to go around.
Yeah.
There's another agent in the area. People always are like, oh, it's you and her. And I'm like, but there's plenty. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So, just when she had reached out to me, it was more like, okay, what can we do together to make this a great experience for our clients? What can we do together for the community? Things like that. It was those kind of wheels were turning versus, even thinking about, oh, am I going to be losing? Is this a competition kind of thing? So I would just say that's not necessarily something that probably even crossed my mind. It was just, a way to work together and do better for other people.
Now, are you guys true partnership?
No, so she actually, since then, she's actually gone off on her own and she has her own team now.
Okay.
So kind of with that teaching background that I had mentioned, my goal currently is more to like be a mentor necessarily versus a team. It's more bringing on these newer agents, mentoring them for a couple years, getting them to where they're confident and successful, and then encouraging them to go off on their own to where they can obviously make more money and be more successful.
Yeah.
So again, it's not, I'm not, on a crazy split or anything like that. And I've, meeting with agents who want to be on the team and stuff like that. They're like, oh, wow, that's what you offer. And it's like, yeah, because I'm not here. I'm not just trying to pull a bunch of people on my team and just take all their money.
Right.
I want it to be a partnership. I want it to be fun. I want it to be something exciting. And I want to help you build your business so you can move on and help other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I found over the years, I like real estate. I love what it can do for our buyer clients, our seller clients. But I found over the last 10, 11 years of me being in this business, I absolutely love helping new people get into this business and finding that mentorship, rule. And, I find that it's like us, it's one of two things. Either they didn't have it, so that's why they like to give it. Or in my case, I had it. And I knew that my experience isn't what most experience when they get into this business.
Okay.
So I love to hear other people just wanting to community over competition, right? Let's just get together. Yeah. Come on my team. I'll show you the right way. I'll show you the right, systems and tools and process and all those things. Then you just take it and run with it when you're ready.
Yeah. And the nice thing too, a lot of my team members now, which this is kind of like, okay, maybe I should turn this into my next strategy, but we're more spread out. So versus all of us being in the same community, I have a girl up in Utica, I have a girl in Bremen, Lancaster. So we're a little bit more spread out over different areas where we can, help out. Okay, if somebody has a showing and they don't necessarily want to drive to Utica, Jordan's up there, she'll help out. So things like that, that's been really helpful as well.
As a team lead and a mentor like that, how do you navigate those waters of being in different markets, right? I mean, Utica is different than, Baltimore and all of those things. How do you navigate the mentorship side of that, getting them going, right? Getting them up and running?
So the biggest thing I would say is just kind of looking at my model and what I do in Baltimore and what I do for my community and the different, social media posts and different things like that. And just being able to take that package and then, expand it, recreate it for these different areas.
No, I love that, because I was hoping that you would say something along those lines, because I always tell team leads, and I think this is for anything. You can build your business any way. Like we did ours with internet leads, right? You did yours with community in your sphere. There's no right way to do it, but as a team lead, if you're looking to add a second person, a third person, and this is whether it's your market or not your market, build your team to work like a franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the process, here's the systems, here's the tools, because real estate's real estate. You can take it, you can package it up and drop it wherever you want, no matter where you're at in the country. And it's still going to work. You might have to tweak, some language and, how you write offers and things like that. But as far as marketing and CRMs and strategies and social media and all of those things, it doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah. Well, and luckily, the areas that we're in are pretty central Ohio. So it's the Columbus MLS. We don't typically, we'll have a few here and there that are just outside of it that, it's not a huge deal. But yeah, as far as the area goes.
But even struggling with not even having maybe a physical office space that they all want to come to, right? And navigating those conversations and keeping them on task and motivated and checking in on them is next level when it comes to taking, especially if it's a newer agent, and getting them up and running.
Yeah. And we do some, group setting things just because with them, they all are similar in when they got their license, so I think they're experiencing similar things. So that helps a lot. But I also do more one-on-one where it's okay, what specific things are you dealing with? What specific questions? So nice thing about that is, we can go meet at the coffee shop or, we can do a Zoom video or different things like that with technology nowadays. So it's not an inconvenience to anyone.
Yeah.